A day will become just nothing at all.
Hello friends, welcome back to the bench. Today we're gonna take a look at the Boss audio systems, Riot R1002 2-channel power amplifier, 200 watts. It's not, it's junk. It's 200 watts of junk. It's actually 30 watts at best, without distortion. Let's take a look inside. Alrighty, so this is how the device works. It's actually extremely simple because, as usual in car amplifiers, it's all pretty much in one chip, one IC, and it's no different here. We have an input, a few resistors and capacitors. That input goes to operational amplifier, which is it's this one. It's kind of an unusual F4558, but it's pretty much either any op amp would do in this case. Nothing special about this one. 100 dB gain. From the preamplifier or op amp, It goes just to our chip and to the output. The one curious thing that I found is that additional pin over here, right, which I couldn't identify, didn't know what it was for. So I retraced it to this little transistor over here, and the voltage from this pin goes to the base, which supplies in turn the operational amplifier. So this is effectively an on-off switch. No voltage on it, it's not gonna turn on. It's only gonna turn on when we apply some voltage. So I use this resistor shorted like this, and that's what turns on the amplifier, and it actually works pretty well. The hardware of our device is dual or quad power amplifier, depending on the configuration you're going to use it on. It's 60 watts as opposed to, where's the instructions? We're going to correct these instructions. They're in Spanish. I don't speak Spanish, so that's going to take some deciphering, but we're going to correct it. This is really nice amplifier. I didn't test the power on it yet, but I expect to get at 14.4 volts. I expect to get about 70 watts from it of real power. The configuration that we use is this one, double bridge. So our two inputs on each side are bridged together, and the input goes through 0.47 micro capacitors, exactly like here. So this is pretty much exactly our circuit, this one. This chip does brag about minimum external components. It was stated here, yes, here, minimum external components count. So no bootstrap capacitor, internally fixed gain, and indeed we have very few components around here. This is just, that's the output, the capacitor on the power supply, the big choke that our voltage from the power supply comes in through, the big diode to prevent the reverse polarity, and the gain control, a small potentiometer over here. These two resistors, one of them is burned, probably because someone made a short on these two pins. This goes to other speakers, I think. Let's consult the manual. The little, yes, it's all in Spanish, so we're gonna have to, yeah. So canal 4 plus, 4 minus, 3 plus, 3 minus. And this one, because this is this one, yeah. Two speaker terminals of head unit. Yeah, so this is what it is. So basically this is an output, and for some reason probably there was a short, and looks like there's no short short detection or short protection. However, the resistor still works, surprisingly. It's 56 ohms, both of these. I will still replace them, obviously, but I'm not too worried about this output. This is the output that I care about the most. That's where we'll check the overall power of this device. Now, speaking of power, let's get the hard numbers. Our output power at best, let's see, maximum output power at 14.4, 35 watts. This should not be exceeded. Well, it's not maximum, it's typical, but well, There's no maximum here. But no, typical maximum power. Yeah, so this is typical maximum power. And minimum maximum power is 31. These are all RMS. However, the manual tells us, let's see what the Bible says. Potencia RMS on forearms. Potencia max 100 watts. Nope. There's no way to get 100 watts from it. And this number, regardless whether you could come up with this number by multiplying certain numbers from the sheet, like maximum current maybe, and on 2 ohms, and calculate the maximum current that potentially could flow, and then just multiply it by the voltage. Then you still want, I think I came up with like maximum of 60 per channel, something like that. But that is completely useless number. This doesn't really tell you anything. This is like just playing with numbers, just so we can sell the device, that kind of thing. And 50 watts, no sir. 35 watts, it's absolute maximum. And the THD, they say 0.01, which in I had it here somewhere, but it's a little higher. So even with that, basically all of the specs of this device are exaggerated. Even the THD, why would you even like? And it was not much off. I think it was 0.05 or 0.02, something like that. So it wasn't far off, but still it had to be exaggerated a little bit. So this is definitely not a 200 watt device. But since it does work, I already connected some speakers to it, and it does play music. So let's see how much power can we actually get from it at, well, let's say maybe around 200 to 400 hertz. On low frequencies, we're gonna get a lot of power from it. But first, I need to put it back in the case so we don't burn the chip. Alrighty, so for this device to have 30 watts RMS power, I would have to see 11 volts over here, and I see 7 and a little. I was even calculating for 7.5, so that's 15 watts per channel. You can probably get a little more if you increase the gain, but then you see clipping. So yeah, it will go to 9 volts. I can even increase the volume here, right? Yeah, like over 9 volts. No, over 9 volts, so that's close to 30, but distortion is huge. So this is just not gonna sound good. And there, that's our, and you can see, let's reduce the gain over here. You can also see the signal is very choppy. See that? Let's stop it here. See how choppy it is? So it's a really it's not a device for audio connoisseurs or audiophiles. That's too bad, because I was hoping to put it as my subwoofer amplifier, but with this much distortion at low frequencies, it's just not gonna work well. So that plan goes away. Okay, friends, thank you very much for watching, and I shall see you in the next one.